There you are.
Cheers.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, let's try that again.
All right. So good evening and welcome to the planning board meeting of Monday, September 13th, 2021. With us tonight, we have Fred Monaco, Nick Papastratis, and myself, Katie O'Donnell. Absent are Mike Biviano and Kevin Cantwell, and our associate member, Peg Davis. So with that, do we have a motion to open the meeting?
I'll make a motion to open the meeting.
That was Fred. Nick, do you have a second?
Second.
Oh, that
Nick
was good.
Papastratis.
Okay. So Fred, are you in favor?
Yes.
Okay, and Katie O'Donnell, aye. So does that work for our roll call vote?
Yes, it does.
All right. And first on our agenda tonight is, let's see here.
Well, we were going to make an announcement that anybody who's here for agenda item C, which is DJ Sullivan, 612 Plain Street, for the deliberation and decision, that will be held off to the next meeting, which is September 27th, because we are missing several board members and it is a special permit. You need 4 out of 5 votes. So we wanted to make sure all 5 members were available for that issue. So with that, we will go to the public hearing on the zoning articles for the fall town meeting. I just had to admit a couple more people, so we'll give them a minute. See, they're connecting.
Well, while we're adding them, we can open the hearing, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the planning board zoning articles for fall town meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Fred Monaco.
Okay, roll call vote. Nick,
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred,
Fred Monaco, aye.
Katie O'Donnell, aye.
All right, with that, for the new people who have just joined, if you could mute, and when you want to speak, either use the hand function or raise your hand on the screen so we can see it, and Katie will get to your questions. I'm going to share my screen for the zoning articles. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to start with the upcoming dates. Tomorrow night is the advisory board and selectmen's joint hearing. The planning board will be holding an additional public hearing at its next meeting on the 27th on an article that was submitted by the building commissioner. The planning board will now definitely be voting on probably on the 27th. They may have to have a special meeting in October if something comes up, but I would expect the planning board's recommendations on all the articles at our next meeting. Town meeting is October 18th. We do have a lot of the zoning articles. It is a special town meeting. So why are there so many zoning articles for this town meeting? Early in January, there were major changes to the state zoning laws, which will more than likely, possibly, require major changes in our zoning bylaws having to do with MBTA communities. The zoning that we have tonight has been in the works for over a year and a half in some of the instances. And what we're trying to do is to clear the plate for all these smaller, most of them, a lot of them are smaller articles to be addressed for this town meeting. So if we do have to go with these major zoning changes in the regular town meeting, we have a clean slate to work on those. Of the zoning articles tonight, and there are 18 of them, there are 2 major changes in the zoning bylaw, and several of those articles deal with those changes. And those are the creation of an affordable village in the PMUD district and the allowing of residential over commercial in the B1 district. And I'll get into more detail on those when we get to those articles. But with that, I'm going to start with Admit. Okay. I'm going to try to group them wherever possible for discussion purposes. The first two articles, Articles 11 and 12, deal with minor clarification or corrections to the standing sign requirements in the sign section of the bylaw, and it just covers the industrial district and the business districts. And the first thing is to do that we're clarifying the language of the bylaw so it matches how it's been interpreted for many years, which is basically a pole sign has a front and a back, meaning two sides, and that the size of the sign on each side is limited to 40 square feet. The 40 square feet has always been there. We've always assumed it was two sides. It just never said two-sided. The second change is in the industrial district, and it adds the same language regarding the limitation to one standing sign per lot. Again, the same as the business district. So we're trying to make sure that what's good in the business district is good for the industrial district and keep them similar in their requirements. If that's okay with everybody, I was going to run through quickly on each of the articles for explanation, and then we can get into questions on all of them. The next article is 15, and it has to deal with the wholesale transportation use category for large-scale solar panels. Currently, the bylaw in the PMUD district was blank for this category, so we're adding in the special permit requirement. And then clarifying in the WRPD.
I go in your office or are you working?
That it is only for the Water Resource Protection District. It's allowed in the Industrial 1A and PMUD district. Article 14.
I'll make sure that they're muted.
Could,
Sorry, Greg, interrupt.
Please mute. Article 14 is covering, we're changing currently 305, 1105 is the planned mixed use development. And we were going to move that to 1306, renumber all the references to that PMUD district. The reason we're doing that is the PMUD is an overlay district, and it's the only overlay district in section 11. All the other overlay districts information and requirements are in section 13. So again, this is one of those corrective things that we're taking the PMUD bylaw and moving it over to the overlay district. There is no other changes other than the numbering to the language for the PMUD as this part of this article. So this is one of those house corrective measures, housekeeping measures. Articles 15 and 16 is one of the major changes, and that's to create a category called the affordable village that would be allowed in only a designated portion of the PMUD. That district would allow duplex, triplex, and fourplexes by a special permit at a density of 3 units per acre. Now, what's 3 units per acre? If you look at where Highland Green has been built, that development is at 3 units per acre. The Seasons, which is a little older, that one was at 4 units per acre. 20% of the units must be affordable under DHCD guidelines, and they must have resale restrictions in order to keep their long-term affordability. These affordable units would count towards the town's 10% affordable requirement. It would also serve as a buffer between the existing Modera 1 and the potential Modera 2, which we've been told by the Modera people that they are planning to file for phase 2. And it would provide a buffer between those two 40B projects and the townhouses at both the Seasons and Highland Green and the single family homes on Seth Sprague and Old Woodlot Lane. The area that's being designated for the affordable village is on the south side of Commerce Way. Roughly, if you go up to the top of Proprietors Drive, it's that area that's highlighted in the red shading. The area to its left or to the west, that's currently white where the arrow is being circled, that's the potential area for Modera 2. Up here is the Highland Green development. You can see at the time we only had one of the units in already. And then off to the right or to the east, you see the Seasons and stuff. Article 16 makes changes to several sections of the existing PMUD zoning language to allow the attached units. The lots are specifically identified, so you don't have to worry about they're going to go someplace else. They're designated in that area that I showed in red. The design of the affordability of the affordable village as part of its requirements is to have lower density townhomes on the east side. And as you go to the west towards Modera, they would increase to triplex and fourplexes. The attached duplex dwelling should be designed to appear as large single-family homes versus a straight side-by-side duplex. The changes in the text for this one and the warrants are now available at Town Hall and should be online. Existing text is in regular print. Strikeouts have the line through it, which means we're removing the language, and where you see bold is where new language is going in. Next are Articles 17 and 18. These two articles deal with revising existing definitions for mixed use and are tied to the Brant Rock Village overlay changes that are in Article, I believe it's 22. Yes. Article 17 is basically saying that a building that includes both commercial and residential. Residential is on the second and third floors, and the building mixed use is specifically allowed in the table of use, which is 305-504. Article 18, mixed use development district, is a zoning district located where one or more permitted principal uses in one building may be allowed by a special permit. Mixed use districts include the B1 planned mixed use development and the Brant Rock overlay district. Article 19 is a standalone that clarifies that mixed-use buildings are only allowed in the portion of the Water Resource Protection District that is within the planned mixed-use development overlay. Articles 20 and 21 cover the other major change, which is allowing commercial above residential above commercial in the B1 downtown. So that first Article 20 is basically adding the use in the table of use categories. And you can see the S on the B1. Article 21 is the details and the requirements of the mixed use residential above commercial development. It would be a special permit through the planning board at a maximum of 10 units per acre, with 20% of the units have to be required to meet the state's affordable housing. And there would be a 6-foot setback on the third floor from the first 2 floors walls, front and back, similar to what we've drafted in the Brant Rock Village overlay. If people are wondering, currently in the planned mixed use development, you have 2 mixed use buildings that have been built over by the restaurant just past the Roach Brothers. Those units are at a density of 6 units per acre. We're proposing 10 in the downtown, and currently it's 13 units per acre in the Brant Rock Village overlay, and we are not proposing a change in the density to the Brant Rock Village overlay district. The area for B1 is outlined in red. It basically runs from the corner cafe on the western side. Town Hall's down in here. It runs all the way to the McDonald Funeral Home to the east, or the Twice as Nice on the other side of the street where that building is. It then runs down Webster Street all the way to Parsonage and just a little past to Garden Gateway, just past Garden Gateway. That is the B1 district. It includes the Marshall's, Star Market, the library. Article 22 is the Brant Rock Village overlay. Oh, more people coming in. The changes that are being proposed for the Brant Rock Village overlay is we're allowing some residential use on the first floor. The original bylaw didn't allow anything but an access up to this upstairs. First floor can be parking, storage, or access versus all commercial on the first floor. We had heard from a previous person that was looking to develop in Brant Rock is that they felt that they could not, the entire first floor could not be residential. Commercial, because it is primarily summer businesses. The second point is that the mixed-use buildings are allowed to be a full 3 floors or 35 feet, and that the third floor needs to be set back again 6 feet from the front and rear walls of the first 2 floors to reduce the visual height appearance. Commercial and residential parking must be provided on site, and recommended residential parking should be above base flood elevation. Planning board would become the special permit granting authority. Currently, it is the Zoning Board of Appeals. And in that way, we would have the planning board as the special permit granting authority for all the residential above commercial developments in the PMUD, in the B1, and in the Brant Rock Village overlay. And we took out the affordable density bonus, and we made it just a straight 10% of the residential units in development would have to be affordable. Article 23 is some minor corrections to the accessory apartment bylaw. It basically removes the 3-year waiting period for new construction or substantial alteration and additions. It limits the accessory apartment to 1 bedroom, and it specifically states that the accessory apartment cannot be sold or transferred separately from the principal unit. Articles 25 and 26 are corrective actions based on a recent court case, and it's to clarify exactly what a yield plan is and how the density is determined when applying for an open space residential development or an OSRD. That first article is for the definition of the yield plan, and the second article is basically removing the formula waiver and just saying that it's a yield plan without waivers from the subdivision rules and regs to demonstrate the number of units that are allowed. Article 27 would modify the existing use table for medical, recreational, and combined marijuana facilities by changing the word facility to establishment. This again is a minor corrective one. It is the change would then match the titles for marijuana uses found in the state regulations, the town's general bylaw, and the town's zoning bylaw. There is no other changes to the uses of the zoning districts where these uses are allowed as part of this article. And then the final article is 2 changes to the existing 1206, which is your recreational marijuana facilities. And it would replace the word retailer with establishment. Again, similar to the previous one, is to match the state law and the general code and the town zoning bylaw. The second change would allow an additional use, cultivation, to be added to the recreational marijuana establishment as one of the uses that it's allowed in the zoning code. So that's a quick overview on the zoning articles. Kate, I'll turn it over to you in case, and I'll help flag if I see anybody raise their hands or the little hand function comes up. And there is nothing in the chat at the moment.
Okay, so do we have any questions, concerns? I'll open up first to members of the board.
I'm good, Katie. I've been going through this a lot.
Yep, Katie, I'm good as well, thanks.
Okay. And with that, I'll open it up to members of the public. Dennis Kelleher, did I see your hand go up?
I did. I was just, let me turn the light on so you can actually see me. I apologize for that. I was just wondering on the mixed use up across Highland Green, how many units are they planning?
It's not a mixed use on Commerce Way.
I understand it's going to be, go ahead.
Duplex, triplexes, and fourplexes.
Yes.
So I believe it came out to, I had done a rough site plan, and it's about 36 units in that area. Between
36
30 and
units.
36.
Oh, that's more than I think that we had thought there was going to be. I thought it was 26.
Hold on, and I'll pull the plan out.
Hey.
So the plan had 26, but I think you could get up to 32 depending on what happens with that residential basin.
Okay, and the other thing was, Greg, I don't know what the setbacks are there. I know that Maureen is here. She's interested in the setbacks adjacent, abutting her property. And then the setbacks from the street. That was the other, I'd heard that there was some changes or requests to make changes to the plan to bring the, to narrow the setbacks to the street.
Well, we did have a last minute, some suggestions from an engineer, which we did not take because we had explained that we had been in discussions with abutters for quite
Yes.
some time.
Okay.
So on the, in the warrant on page 18 has the setbacks for the affordable village. Front from Commerce Way is 30 feet, side is 20, and rear is 30. And then setbacks for individual buildings within it are from the interior way 20 feet and from adjacent buildings 30 feet.
Okay,
So I specifically, what we were trying to do was the buffers to provide a visual screen from the residents from each other's buildings, as well as the roadway and surrounding properties. Maureen does have, so there was a land swap that had happened at the previous town meeting. The town owned a couple of small parcels within some VRT land at the very top of Proprietor's Way. If you kept going straight up, there was 2 small pieces of land. That was traded for land on the east side. That was VRT. They gave us basically, I believe it says 40 feet, 40.55 feet width of buffer on the side, then, which is now town land. And then it gets into the property lines, which you would then have your side yard setbacks of 20 feet. So any building within this new zoning district would have to be a minimum of 60 feet from a property line for a single family house or one of the Seasons properties or anything like that.
okay. The other thing is, I was curious in the plan, does that 30 feet, no, that does not include the town take of 7 or 8 feet, is that correct?
The town take.
Well, every road in town has 6
So
or,
right away is 40 feet. The road,
Okay.
yes, is smaller. So sometimes it can be as little as 3 or 5 feet, and sometimes it could be as much as 8 feet.
oh,
If
okay.
the pavement is actually dead center, and sometimes the road shifts one way or another.
Yeah, understood, okay.
But that right of way is not included in the setback,
The right of way is not,
right?
okay,
And typically about 6 inches to a foot outside of that sidewalk. The sidewalks are usually placed on the outs, like close to the edge of this right away. But there's usually 6 inches to a foot between the edge of the concrete sidewalk and the actual property lines.
Yes, okay. All right, that sort of explains it for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Don't see anything on chat. I don't see any hands up.
Also, one other question, if I might, Greg, is the, with the
The
season.
chair would say, okay.
Okay.
Katie, you there?
Is that
Oh, there
okay?
you
I'm
are.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize, Catherine. On the Seasons property that's being built or proposed, is that taken any consideration to the school department and the number of kids that'll be involved in space in the schools as well? Modera.
Modera is a 40B.
Yes.
We don't have any ability to influence that one way or another. I was originally trying to rezone that parcel as well.
Yes.
So my understanding at the moment is that the schools are not anticipating any problems with the current Modera, and that they were actually having some declining enrollment. So that would be something that we would need to ask the Board of Appeals if and when Modera 2 comes before their board.
Okay. Thank you for the answer.
You're welcome.
Do you have any other questions? Chris Valenti?
Thanks, Catherine. Greg, when you answered Dennis's question originally, you said there were 36 units. And then when you checked the plan, you said it was planned for 26 up to 32.
Yep, that's because we had that last minute when they came in and they were trying to get 36. That was the last thing in my head.
Was it 32 or 36? I'm confused.
It is 26 on what I drew, and it could be up to 32 depending on what happens to that drainage basin.
Thank you.
And you also, in the PMUD language, we have a total cap of residential units that are not 40Bs, capped at 65. Current language is 75. So we're actually lowering that overall because we're going to be getting another 40B.
Okay. And the second Modera, how many units is that going to be? Do you have any idea?
We've heard rumors that they were looking for 250 to possibly 300. But again, until we see something from them, we have no idea.
Great. Thanks, Greg.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else from the public with questions or concerns? Okay, I don't see anyone raising their hand or unmuting. Still nothing in the chat, right?
No.
Okay. So Greg, would we close the public hearing?
Close
For
the
this,
public
or
hearing on this
do
one.
it?
We'll have a new public hearing when we get the article from the building commissioner for the next meeting. And then you guys can discuss what you want to do and then make your recommendations for town meeting.
Okay, so we should close. We shouldn't continue to.
No, because
one?
we're gonna have to open another public hearing on the other one.
Okay,
The next meeting. You can
Alright.
deliberate after both hearings are closed, then you can talk about all the articles for your recommendations for town meeting.
okay. So with that, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on planning board zoning articles for fall town meeting. Do I have a second?
Fred Monaco, I'll second the motion.
Okay, and Fred, your vote?
Yes.
Okay, and Nick?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Okay, Katie O'Donnell, aye. Okay, so that closes that, the public hearing on the zoning articles. Earlier, Greg announced that we'll be postponing the decision, deliberation and decision for DJ Sullivan and 612 Plain Street, just in case anyone who joined was looking for that one.
And that's to September 27th.
Yes, our next meeting, Monday, September 27th. And then next on our agenda is 147 Clay Pit Road, request to Building Commission.
So this is a request for the planning board to ask the building commissioner to investigate and take action against a possible zoning violation. We have school bus parking going on, which was not an allowed use on the property. It is in a WRPD district. It would require a special permit from the planning board. So that's all I have on that one for the moment, if the board so cares to make a motion and have that done. This does not mean that the applicant will be fined immediately. The building commissioner, it's now would be in his wheelhouse, so to speak, or similar to what we did with the problems we're having up at John Sherman and Wrights Way. It would now be that he would be working on that, and if he can't get a resolution to the problem, then he could potentially, fine somebody for zoning violations.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I'd like to see an application come in. And let's see here. Any discussion from the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely support moving ahead with that, Greg. So
Yeah.
Okay, so we
You're breaking up, Katie.
is that. Can you hear me now?
Yep,
I-
we lost you again.
Um,
I think she's calling for a roll call vote.
Okay.
Fred Monaco. Nick,
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Katie. Oh, we lost her. Oh, there she is. All right, you're back. So we have Fred and Nick both saying aye.
okay, Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Okay. So we will get that off to the building commissioner tomorrow. Next on the agenda is board staff report. Tonight, we don't have a lengthy one. We've been involved and we will be for the next several weeks going out in the field a lot. We have to do a lot of field work as part of that municipal vulnerability plan grant that we're working on.
Okay. Well, I hope you have good weather.
Yeah, hopefully. Karen, is there anything else I'm forgetting? Nope, okay. Next on the agenda was the request for advice for ZBA. We have not received anything from them this time. Typically, if something will come in, what I'll do is I'll send you guys both what came from the ZBA and what my comments are. When we don't have the opportunity to have you guys vote, I'll send it as the planner's comments. When you guys have the opportunity to vote, it's then from the planning board. And
Okay.
next on the agenda is the minutes of August 23rd.
Okay, do we have a motion to, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of August 23rd, 2021.
I'll second the motion and vote yes.
And Fred, okay. Oh, did I freeze on you guys again?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Katie O'Donnell, aye.
All right. And then the final thing is, unless board members have anything, adjournment.
Okay, well, I apologize for my connectivity issues apparently during this meeting, but thanks to everyone and especially to all the members of the public who have attended as well. That'll make a motion that we adjourn tonight's planning board meeting. Do you have a second?
A second. Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred
Fred?
Monaco, aye.
Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Okay. Katie, did we lose you again?
I think so.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
I keep talking and you can't.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right.
Ed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
One.